Bullies slapped a disabled girl in a diner. An hour later, bikers walked in. The fluorescent lights of Maggie's diner hummed softly overhead as rain tapped gently against the windows. It was one of those quiet Tuesday afternoons where time seemed to slow down, steam rising from coffee cups, the clink of silverware, and the low murmur of conversation creating a cozy rhythm. At a corner booth sat 20-year-old Lily Nguyen, her dark eyes bright despite the challenges life had thrown at her. Born with cerebral palsy, she'd spent most of her life in a wheelchair, but never once let it define her. She painted, wrote poetry, volunteered at the local animal shelter, and dreamed of publishing a children's book about kindness. Today, she was treating herself to a slice of cherry pie, her favorite after a long physical therapy session. She didn't notice them at first. Four young men, early 20s, loud, reeking of cheap cologne and arrogance, swaggered in laughing too loudly, snapping photos for social media, flexing like they owned the place. Their names didn't matter. What mattered was what they represented: cruelty disguised as humor, entitlement masked as confidence. One of them, tall, buzz-cut, smirk permanently etched on his face, spotted Lily. He nudged his friends. "Check it out, wheelchair girl eating alone. Bet she can't even feed herself." They sauntered over. Lily looked up, offering a polite smile. "Hi," she said softly. Buzzcut leaned down, inches from her face. "Hey there, Speedy Gonzalez. Need me to cut that pie for ya? Or maybe push you around the block after?" His friends laughed. Lily's cheeks flushed, but she kept her voice steady. "I'm fine, thank you." "Aw, she talks," one of them mocked. "Cute." Then, without warning, Buzzcut reached out and slapped her across the cheek. Crack! The sound echoed through the diner. Gasps erupted. Silverware clattered to plates. A waitress dropped a tray of drinks. Lily's hand flew to her face. Tears welled in her eyes, not just from pain, but from shock, humiliation, the sudden violation of her dignity in a place that was supposed to be safe. "You're disgusting," she whispered, trembling. Buzzcut laughed. "What? You gonna cry? Call your mommy?" "Oh, wait," he mimicked, pushing a wheelchair. "You probably still live with her." The manager rushed over, stammering apologies, asking them to leave. But the bullies just shoved past him, tossing crumpled napkins on the floor as they exited. "See ya, Wheels," one shouted over his shoulder. Lily sat frozen, her pie untouched, her hands shaking. The entire diner fell into an awkward, heavy silence. No one approached her. No one offered a hug. Just sideways glances, murmured sympathy, and turned backs. Except for old Mr. Jenkins at the counter, Vietnam vet, grizzled, seen too much in his 78 years. He slid off his stool, walked slowly over, and placed a wrinkled hand gently on Lily's shoulder. "They ain't worth your tears, sweetheart," he said quietly, "but I'm calling someone." Lily wiped her cheek. "Who?" Mr. Jenkins didn't answer. He just pulled out his flip phone. Yes, he still used one, and dialed a number saved under Brothers. Exactly 57 minutes later, the rumble began. It started faint, a distant growl beneath the rain, then louder, deeper, like thunder rolling down Main Street. Heads turned toward the windows, and then they arrived. 6 Harleys, gleaming chrome, black leather, skull patches and American flags stitched proudly on their cuts. The Iron Saints Motorcycle Club, not your Hollywood outlaw gang. These were veterans, mechanics, teachers, fathers, men who rode together not for chaos, but for brotherhood and justice. They parked in a line outside Maggie's diner, engines idling like dragons breathing fire. The door swung open. First came Bear, 6'5", beard thick as a forest, arms covered in tattoos that told stories of loss, love, and loyalty. Behind him, Doc, ex-Army medic, chains, former high school football coach, Tiny, who was anything but, Ghost, quiet as his name, and Preacher, whose sermons came not from pulpits but from actions. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. The air in the diner changed, thickened, charged. Bear scanned the room. His eyes landed on Lily, still sitting in the same booth, untouched pie in front of her, tear stains dried on her cheeks. He walked straight to her. Everyone held their breath. Then Bear knelt, right there on the greasy linoleum, so he could look her in the eye. "Miss Lily," he rumbled, voice softer than gravel but warm as campfire smoke. She nodded, unsure. "My name's Bear. Mr. Jenkins is my uncle. He called us. He paused. He told us what happened." Lily swallowed. You don't have to do anything." Bear smiled, small, sad, sincere. "Oh, sweetheart, we choose to." He stood, turned to the counter. "Coffee, black, 6 cups, and 1 slice of cherry pie. Extra whipped cream. The waitress scrambled to comply. The bikers sat at the booth beside Lily's, not crowding her, just being there, present, protective. Preacher leaned over. You paint, right? Mr. Jenkins said you're real good. Lily blinked. Yes, watercolors mostly. I got a granddaughter, loves unicorns. Think you could paint her one? Lily's lips twitched into the faintest smile. I'd love to. Ghost, silent until now, slid a folded $50 bill onto her table. For supplies, he muttered. Doc checked her cheek gently. That bruise'll fade, the memory won't. But you're not alone anymore. Tiny pulled out a stuffed bear from his saddlebag, because of course he carried one. For courage, he grinned. And just like that, the heaviness lifted. Laughter returned. Conversation sparked. The waitress brought refills. Someone put on soft jazz. Life resumed, but better, kinder. Then the door opened again. Buzzcut and his two idiot friends swaggered back in, clearly looking for another laugh, another target. They froze. 6 bikers, all standing now, all staring. Bear cracked his knuckles. Well, look what crawled back in. Buzzcut tried to play it cool. We were just. Chain stepped forward. You slapped a disabled girl. It was a joke, man, one friend squeaked. Preacher's voice cut through like steel. There's a special place in hell for men who think cruelty is comedy. Bear pointed at Lily. This young lady has more strength in her pinky finger than you 3 combined have in your entire bloodlines. You don't get to walk away from this. The bullies backed up. We'll go. We're sorry. Too late for sorry, Doc said calmly. Time for accountability. Bear pulled out his phone. Dialed. Sheriff? Yeah, we're at Maggie's. Got 3 morons here who assaulted a disabled woman earlier. Yep, still smell like cowardice and Axe body spray. Send a cruiser. Within minutes, flashing lights painted the diner red and blue. The bullies were cuffed, read their rights, dragged out kicking and screaming. One sobbed, another begged. Buzzcut stared at Lily with wide, terrified eyes. She met his gaze and smiled. Not a cruel smile, not a vengeful one, a forgiving one that broke him more than any punch ever could. As they were hauled away, Bear turned back to Lily. You okay? She nodded. Better than okay. I feel seen. That's what community's for, Prider said. They stayed another hour, shared stories, laughed, ate pie, took selfies with Lily, who insisted on painting each of them a small portrait someday. Before they left, Bear handed her a patch, black and gold, stitched with the Iron Saints logo and beneath it, Honorary Saint. We ride for those who can't, he said. And today we rode for you. Lily hugged him, tight, fierce, grateful. As the bikes roared away into the rainy dusk, Mr. Jenkins wheeled himself over. Yes, he used a chair too, knee injury from Nam. He patted Lily's hand. Told you I'd call the cavalry. She laughed through fresh tears. Best cavalry ever. The story went viral. Security footage from the diner, showing the slap, the silence, then the arrival of the bikers, was uploaded by a brave waitress. Within 48 hours, it had 12 million views. News outlets called. Talk shows invited Lily. The Iron Saints did interviews, not for fame, but to send a message. Mess with the vulnerable, and you mess with us. Donations poured in for Lily's art supplies. Publishers reached out about her children's book. A GoFundMe for a custom adaptive easel raised $30,000 in a week. The bullies, charged with assault and hate crime enhancements, community service, mandatory sensitivity training, public apology, which Lily accepted, not because they deserved it, but because she deserved peace. Months later, at the grand opening of Lily's Light Studio, her very own art space downtown, guess who showed up? Each wearing a frame around their neck. Lily's portraits of them, vibrant and full of soul. Bear pinned a new patch on her jacket. Artist, warrior, saint. And as the sun set that evening, painting the sky in watercolor hues only Lily could truly appreciate, she whispered to herself, kindness roars louder than engines, and sometimes it rides on 2 wheels. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. Stories like Lily's remind us that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear leather jackets and ride Harleys. Let us know in the comments. Have you ever witnessed someone stand up for a stranger? Tag someone who embodies quiet strength. Thanks for watching.